Hey everyone, Garrett back with The Actor's Dream. This is video 3 and we're going to be going into linking. Okay, so linking is basically your next check down. Again, for all you football fans, West Coast offense, Bill Walsh, yes, no? So logic and story, right, is the primary thing. That's where you always want to start. But what happens when you find something that isn't inherently meaningful, doesn't have a clear structure? Things that come to mind are lists, right? Things that are nonlinear, any of those kind of things, right? And you need to have a strategy to be able to attack those things, right? So the first one we're going to be talking about is linking, okay? And this stuff, by the way, these are techniques and things that, of course, I've adapted for actors, but most of this stuff has been around for tons of time, right? And tons and tons and tons of time. I've just found it and adapted it to these things. So linking has been around forever. And one of the things that you're going to be asked to do with linking is to visualize, create an image, and then connect it to another image. Okay, so if you think about links on a chain, that's really what you're going to be doing here, and it'll become clear as we work on the exercises, okay? So the two main things I'm going to ask you to do is to visualize. So for those of you who, and again, increasingly more and more in society now, imagination and visualizing isn't something a muscle we use all the time. So this is a great thing to really expand that. But if you are a visual learner, this is a great method for you, okay? So what I'm going to be asking you to do, and I'll take you through this one element at a time, is that I'm going to be asking you to visualize and then to connect and associate those things together. Well, what do I mean by connect and associate? Well, a great example, non-visual, would be this simple exercise. So I'm going to give you a list of 10 things, okay? And I want you to try to remember them in order, okay? So a hot dog bun, a shoe, a tree, a door, a beehive, a pile of sticks, heaven, an iron gate, a bottle of wine, and a hen. I'll say that one more time. So, a hot dog bun, a shoe, a tree, a door, a beehive, a pile of sticks, heaven, a gate, a bottle of wine, and a hen. Hannah, can you try to give me those in order?
A hot dog bun, a shoe, a tree, a door, a beehive, a pile of sticks, heaven, an iron gate, a bottle of wine, and a hen. Great.
Now, how did you do that? Can you say how you did it, or was it just trying to get them all in order?
No, I was just picturing them and somehow connecting,
creating a story.
The shoe was in a hot dog.
Great. That's exactly right. You're associating those things and creating a story. All those things, right? And again, it's linked. See what I did there? With the story and logic, right? That's what we do, right? We make story. We create meaning, right? So can you try to do the same thing? 1 through 10.
Hot dog bun, a shoe, a tree, a door, beehive, sticks, heaven, gate to heaven. Missing 9. 10 was a hen.
Great. Okay, great. So again, none of these, everything that we're going to be talking about, there's not one right or wrong way, right? That's the other important thing to remember is if you already have a way that works for you, use it. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? That's very, very important. All of these things are to supplement or enhance what you already use, right? If it's already useful, don't throw it away, right? What I was talking about with association though, right, and you kind of jump to the visualization part, which is great, right, is, well, you all know the numbers 1 through 10 in order, right? That's a logical sequence of numbers, right? And what if I told you that list lined up rhyming with the numbers? So 1 was bun, 2 was shoe, 3 was tree, 4 was door, 5 was hive, 6 was sticks, 7 was heaven, 8 was gate, 9 is wine, and 10 is hen, right? If you knew that, right, just knowing that structure and that association, if I said, what's 4, what would you say?
Door.
What's 6?
Sticks.
What's 8?
Gate.
What's 1?
Hot dog bun.
What's 10?
The hen.
Right? So it's just boom, 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 right? And imagine if you knew your lines that well, right? So it's creating those things. But again, if you think about, okay, there's a sequence of numbers and then an image. Well, isn't that the same thing as a sequence of actions and text? Right? it's the same thing, right? You're connecting these things to a structure, music and lyrics. Same thing, right? So what we're going to be doing with linking is the first step in learning how to create those structures out of something inherently not obviously meaningful off the bat, okay? So you have in your papers a list of 10 things. And again, for those of you wanting to follow along and do this exercise, there's a link in the description below that's going to take you to theactorsdream.com in the documents section where you can follow along and do this exercise, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is just close your eyes and listen to my prompt to start, and then we'll work into the list, okay? So what I want you to do is imagine a ham sandwich and really see a three-dimensional ham sandwich, okay? Now I want you to make it move. And now I want you to make it a different color. And now make it have a different pattern. It could be striped, polka dot, houndstooth, paisley, right? And the bread even has a different surface. It's sticky, it's sandpapery, it's slimy, it's gooey, it's spiky. Now I want you to imagine it doing something a ham sandwich would never do. Could be jumping rope, could be boxing Sylvester Stallone, could be wakeboarding. Now I want you to imagine it doing something incredibly violent and aggressive. Now I want you to imagine it doing something sexual. Now open your eyes. Now I'm willing to guess that that journey of the ham sandwich became much more vivid the more and more and more and more, right, than that first image you had, right? The main idea here, right, is that you want something three-dimensional, right, vivid, not everyday, right? You want to make it cartoonish, huge, enormous, something that's unforgettable, right? And why did I say something using sex or violence? Well, two things. One, almost every great play in the canon deals with both of those topics, right? But the other thing is in an image, those are two great things that you can go immediately to and make it memorable. If it's something very sexual or very violent or something around the realm of those two things, it's going to be harder to forget those. Does that make sense? And the beauty of all of this is all of these images are right in here. So no one knows how sick and twisted you are. And also, right, and this may happen as we're doing this, sometimes the images that your mind comes up with without a prompt are just crack you up and are funny. And it can become fun to learn lines this way, right? So what I'm going to ask you to do, right, you have that image for the ham sandwich, right? So similar to what we're talking about in terms of connecting and association, what you did with the list, right, that initial list, okay? So the second thing we have is a football, okay? So do the same thing right now, and I'll lead you through with the football, and then connect them, okay? So close your eyes and imagine a football. And again, make it move. Make it enormous, three-dimensional, enormous, active. Change its tactile feel, sticky, slippery, spiky, sandpapery, smooth. Change the pattern on it. Now make it do something incredibly aggressive. Make it do something a football would never do in real life. And now make it do something sexual. Now take any version, any of those images that you came up with for the ham sandwich and the football, and how can you connect them together? Meaning, I'll give you a simple example. Ham sandwich, the football could eat it, right? Or you could throw a ham sandwich through a football and it leaves a sandwich mark in the ball. Or does that make sense, right? You're finding a way to connect those two things together, okay? Now with linking, what you're doing here, right, is if you have ham sandwich here, ham sandwich is connected to football. Then Football is connected to this. So you're just connecting one to one, one to one, one to one, right? So if you're creating a lot of these, right, one of the things that is human nature is, am I going to remember this thing, right? If this is solid, if that connection, that pairing is solid, it will be there. So similar to you don't always have to work in sequence and do the whole monologue. If you have that, move to the next thing, okay? So I'm going to give you this list of 10 things, okay? And again, the link is in the description that leads you to the documents section if you want to follow along. And I'm just going to ask you to learn that list, okay? And I'm going to give each number to you, each object to you, and you're going to link them together, okay? So let's just start out here. I'm going to say, and it might just be helpful just to close your eyes and I'll give you these, okay? So connect ham sandwich to football. Football to a spike. A spike to pizza. Pizza to Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg to unicorns. Unicorns to chewing gum. Chewing gum to the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower to a guitar. And a guitar to a machine gun. Okay, now I'm going to ask you, keep your eyes closed. Okay, I'm going to go through that one more time. And as I go through it, we're going to do something just that it's called flashing. So all I'm going to ask you to do is when I say these things, flash on those images, right? The connections that you have. So I'm going to say ham sandwich is connected to football. Flash on that. Really solidify that for you visually, right? We don't want memorizing to be the feeling of when you get someone's phone number and you have to say it over and over again and run to your phone, right? You know that feeling, right? We want it just solid. We don't have to be anxious, stressed out. So I'm just going to go through each pairing and just flash on those images. And if you don't feel they're strong enough, make them stronger, okay? So one more time. Ham sandwich is connected to football. Football is connected to spike. A spike is connected to pizza. Pizza is connected to Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is connected to unicorns. Unicorns is connected to chewing gum. Chewing gum is connected to the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower is connected to guitar. And guitar is connected to machine gun. All right, open your eyes. Deonza, can you give it a shot? Just the 10 in order.
Ham sandwich, football, spike, pizza, Snoop Dogg, unicorn, chewing gum, Eiffel Tower, guitar, machine gun.
Great. Hannah.
Well, it's easy now. She did it. All right. We have ham sandwich, football, spike, pizza, Snoop Dogg, unicorns, chewing gum, Eiffel Tower, guitar, machine gun.
Great. Now, just going off of this initial exercise, right? So one of the pros of this method, right? If you could just even articulate for you, what are the pros of this method? Just off the top.
I see and understand it really well.
Okay, yeah, it's simple, right? Quick, right? What kinds of things can you imagine using this for just off the top of your head if you were learning lines this way, right? Because we don't want to use this for everything necessarily, but can you see a specific application or applications for this method? And if so, what?
A lot of Shakespearean text.
Sure.
Yeah.
List.
Yep, lists. Yes, exactly. And so that's what I would say to anyone, that linking, right, all of this stuff you can really, it's modular. You can use it in any way that's most useful, but lists are one of the best applications for this, right? And it's simple and it's quick, right? The other thing is, let's look at the cons, right? Can you imagine what a downfall, could something happen that would throw this method off if it happened? Can you think?
Missing items.
Right. So if you miss one, you're done. Right? So one of the things about this list is, it's great, but you lose one, you lose a lot, right? You might be able to skip ahead, but you're dependent on the integrity of the entire thing, right? So again, it doesn't mean you don't use it, but you need to know those things going into to strategize what you want to use. And also, in this kind of a situation, do using linking for 5 items, 10 items, 20 items, maybe. If you have the list of wars in Lisa Peterson and Dennis O'Hara's Iliad, and it's 140 wars, linking might not be the one you want to use, right? Incidentally, we will be doing a video on that list down the road. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, connecting an image to an image, right? This is really useful with lists, but we can use it in other ways. The importance of saying it out loud, right? And being able to flash, right? As you see that too, just me saying it and not just hearing it, but seeing it, right? That gives you another layer of meaning that you can connect to, okay? So that finishes us up with linking. We will be expanding using linking with phrasing, with monologues and scene work. But right now we're just laying the groundwork, working with lists and objects, and then we're going to be building out from there. So again, if you like this video, leave a comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we're going to be moving on to video 4, talking about memory palaces and loci. So please follow us over there. We'll see you then.